want to talk about this. Apparently, we have to.
Neither do I.
Because.
Damn it.
Yeah, I know. And I agree. I absolutely agree. Let's go.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Mister, will you please wake up? Wake up. Wake up. Wake up.
Good morning! Snowman here to all you Brock Purdy and San Francisco 49er haters. Shut up! I gotta thank you, Shane.
I mean, whatever happened to the games where breaking 100 points was, I don't know, unusual?
There was one word to sum up the All-Star weekend.
Trays. Cause we take this job so serious.
Splash Brothers, yes. Ray Allen, replace him with Steve Kerr. Reggie Miller, yeah.
What in the all types of blue hell?
Let's get moving. A game occurred last night where the prop bets were more exciting than the game itself. Thank you, Chris Dietz, for that. Good morning, and welcome to the Thank God It's Over Monday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Glad to have you all with us. And Sam Darnold is a Super Bowl champion. And unfortunately, for any of us that saw him early in his career, no one can take that away. First hour presented by Wanna Parlay, the world's richest parlay. Dietz, I'm just going to see the floor to you because by the time the first quarter was over, I was in bed. Seriously.
Okay. Well, I said it in the chat, and I didn't get a response, but I'm going to use it anyway. I'm going to steal Victor's line. There was one word to describe Super Bowl 60.
Trays.
That's not the word. That's not the word, but there was one word, and it was uneventful. Mm-hmm. Every aspect of this game that you went for was uneventful. You know, the pregame. Well, there wasn't much fanfare in the pregame. There wasn't much fanfare in the first half. There wasn't much fanfare in the commercials. There wasn't much fanfare in the halftime show, and there wasn't much. It kind of trickled onto the field. It was nothing. Nothing really happened that made you go, "Oh!" Like made you jump out of your seat. And I was thinking about what Super Bowl do we use to compare this to? And
11.
You can go back all the years, and you can think back to all the years of the Super Bowl. At least I can, going back to at least 25, maybe even before that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but my mind always goes back to 25. There was always a moment that you could go back to and go, that was a Super Bowl moment. That was a moment. And this game kind of brought memories of, I don't know the number, but the Sean McVay Rams against the Patriots.
53.
When it was a when it was a defensive struggle in the first half, and everybody said, "Oh, this game is so boring." But in that game, you had Devin McCourty make one of the greatest plays in Super Bowl history, and you could always go back to that and go, "That was an amazing play. That play stood out." What stood out from this Super Bowl 60? Absolutely nothing. Like Kenneth Walker running for 30 yards. That was it. That was all you had.
I watched a video from one of my buddies, Jaguar Gator 9, and he compared this to Super Bowl 11. And with what you just said, Dietz, about having the Super Bowl having no moments stand out, even in Super Bowl 11 with the Oakland Raiders and the Minnesota Vikings, you had Willie Brown with a 75-yard interception return for a touchdown. That was a Super Bowl moment. And that's the moment that always gets replayed when they put a Super Bowl montage together. I couldn't find a moment last night that would be worthy of putting it into a montage.
No, and even the late pick six was not even it was not even an eventful play. It was like an afterthought. It was like, oh, they're just tacking on. Okay.
It was regular. It wasn't even.
That's what I would say. That's what I would say. It was vanilla. It was vanilla. Everything about this game, and I kept saying it. And we had our Facebook chat. We had our Facebook chat going during the game. I kept saying every time the Patriots got the ball, they need to do something. They need to do something different than drop back it to pass and throw the ball. They needed to do a reverse. They needed to do a halfback pass or a second wide receiver pass, something that could jumpstart the offense, something that they could go, all right, we got them thinking. They just kept going. First down, run. Second down, drop back pass. Third down, blitz up the middle, and Drake May would throw the ball off target. That they did that every single drive up until they started going, hey, we're down. Let's start throwing the ball deep for no reason.
Right. It was a sad game last night. Sad.
But it wasn't. That's the thing about this though. Like, there are games where, and there are games where you could say, all right, it was a sad game, but you had other elements. You always had other elements, and that's why we did the prop bets. That's why we talked about. That's why we talked about everything else leading up to the Super Bowl, and we talked about how the Super Bowl is an event and how there are surrounding things. What surrounding event for this Super Bowl? What came into this Super Bowl? What surrounding event? What surrounding event? Like I can barely remember any of the commercials that came out of this. I think I remember two of them. And that's it. I think the halftime show. I'm not somebody who can comment on the halftime show because it wasn't meant for me. I don't know any Bad Bunny songs, so I don't know if he performed them well. I don't know any of the songs that he played. I don't know half I couldn't understand half the words he said. So it wasn't meant for me. It wasn't meant for me, and I get that. And I get that. So I'm like, okay, so I will cede the floor to anybody who knows of Bad Bunny, but as a performer, as somebody who doesn't know anything that's going on, nothing in that made me go, I really want to get, and I go back to, and I'm gonna date myself here, and I'm going to probably lose half the audience, but it's okay. Again, Rams, Patriots, Super Bowl. Going into that halftime show, I didn't know who Bruno Mars was at the time. At the time, I had no idea who he was. They were like, this guy's doing halftime. And you know what? He came out, and I didn't know any of the songs, but I saw his performance, and I was amazed by it, and it made me want to know more about Bruno Mars. It made me want to study his catalog. It made me want to go, hey, if a Bruno Mars song comes on, I'm like, oh, that's the song. I recognize that. It made me more into it. So even though I didn't know anything that was going on, I was astonished by his performance. Nothing last night made me go, I want to go research that more. I want to go look into that. That was how the whole thing felt. That's how the whole night felt. The whole night felt uneventful, uninspired, and just it like I said, uneventful. Just nothing. It was like 3 hours of nothing happening.
You know, for a long time, I would watch the pregame show, listening for all the numbers and everything leading up to the Super Bowl. I didn't watch a thing last night leading up to it. By the time I realized the pregame show was going on, I was eating my dinner. You know, wife had come in, got settled. We talked for a little bit. And then she said, I gotta go work on my dissertation for a bit. Let me know when the game starts. When I was sitting in this chair when the game started, my eyes were looking the way that you see them now. And Deets, you know me. If I'm tired when I'm doing a game call, I'm gonna stop it. And
we can get into this later. This is when I knew that this game was, as I said, uneventful and uninspiring.
Speaking of uneventful, just a moment, Deets. Just speaking of uneventful, you can't call this uneventful, can you?
Oh, look at this! Look at this regal. This is the regalness here.
This is more royal than whatever the hell went on last night in the Super Bowl in Santa Clara.
Hi, everyone.
It's a halftime. Damien, listen. Give me this camera. Damien, listen to me. Listen to me carefully, okay? And I'm going to say it right here. The Super Bowl halftime show, as far as I'm concerned, was nothing. Matter of fact, I got a song for that. I played it earlier, but then Deets stopped me saying, no, that wasn't it. It is for this.
Trays.
And speaking of arrival, the queen made her arrival to claim her 2 belts.
We can say it's trash though. But like I said, I have no idea. I have no frame of reference to whether that was a good performance or whether that was Bad Bunny performing Bad Bunny. You know, but to the NFL.
You know why I didn't watch the halftime show? It goes back to a question I asked when the announcement was made. Who the hell is Bad Bunny?
Exactly. But as I said, I'm willing to give him a shot. But nothing he did inspired me. Nothing he did inspired me to say, "Hey, I want to go check that out." Everything that he did was kind of like, "Okay, is that?" And I had to ask, "Is that on brand for him?" But as things came in, I guess social media was blowing up because they had the most social media interaction during any Super Bowl that notice came across. So again, I'm not going to sit here and say it didn't hit for me, but I wasn't the target audience. The target audience was how many clicks can we get on social media, and by that metric, maybe the halftime show hit. I have no idea.
I think that seems to be the only thing in mind with the demographics, like the target audience these days. You just get the most interaction, the most engagement forming online. You're the winner. It's just all about that online engagement.
Well, Damien says if you watch WWE, you would know.
No, I watch WWE, and I know Bad Bunny. I know Bad Bunny from WWE, and he was ruining WWE until Travis Scott said, "Hold my beer," and decided to take that. So don't.
Is it bad that I only know Bad Bunny from that one Saturday Night Live short that he did with Huntrix?
That's more. It's not sad. Well, I mean, it's a bad thing, but you know more about Bad Bunny than I did before last night. I still have no idea who this guy is, but he has millions. He has millions and millions of followers, and that's what the NFL wanted. The NFL wanted to get followers. So, did it work? Okay. I mean, it may have worked. It may have worked for the demographic they were going for. It didn't work for me. But it wasn't aimed at me. So I don't hold that against the NFL. I don't hold that against the NFL. Did it work? I still, the jury's out on that. But he didn't do anything to push anybody away. He didn't. But like I said, he didn't do any. It was uneventful. The only word to say is uneventful. It didn't push people away. I don't think it pulled people in. I think it just status quo. It was what it is, and so
it just stood there. That's as far as.
But Snowman, you would like the point I was just making. The way I knew that this Super Bowl was uneventful, the best conversation we had during the game was whether or not Michael Jordan is the best basketball player as opposed to the greatest basketball player. That was the best conversation. That was the best argument we had at the bar during the game. Nobody talked about the game. Nobody talked about what was happening on the screen. Nobody cared about the game. We were having off-brand conversations.
Was it really that bad last night?
You know it's bad, though?
Go on, then.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nope. No one cared. No one cared about the game. My wife got so frustrated that she couldn't find it. She said, "Skip it." I said, "Skip it" by the end of the first quarter. I had forgotten all the prop bets we made, and you these keeping track of all the prop bets. You know, with the national anthem go. What did we say? 3 minutes. I said 4.
How long did it go?
Yeah, a minute 45.
What?
It was in and out. A minute 45. I had it on the stopwatch. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
But it wasn't that the game.
It's not hatred. It's disinterest. Because I am not familiar. Let's go back to the halftime show. I am not familiar with who Bad Bunny is. Squire of me. It didn't set anything in me to go look up stuff. It's disinterest. That's all.
Yeah, there's no. Again, how can it be hating on somebody to say you? All I said was it wasn't for me. It didn't inspire. It didn't inspire me to go see Bad Bunny. It didn't make me want to go look up his catalog and see anything else. It was an uninspiring. It was an uninspiring show. I had no idea what was going on. It was basically him walking around. He was walking through. I guess they made like a mock, like I don't know, a mock neighborhood where he was just walking through. There was a bodega. There was some. There was some other stuff. There was some guys playing cards or something.
Jamie, you gotta understand. This is a personal opinion.
Dress, please behave.
No, that's what it was. I'm just describing what it was and what it looked like to me. He just walked out, he did his thing, then he fell through the, like, I saw it when he fell through the top of the building he was standing on. I thought that was pretty cool, and that was going to be like an explosion into, like, he was going to dance and he was going to do something else. He just walked out. And so he just walked out kind of and stood in front of everybody else, jumped back up on something, and it kind of just went on. Again, to me, I wasn't inspired to say, hey, Bad Bunny, let me go check out more stuff.
You know what would have been cool?
So,
you know what would have been cool? Hear me out. If they used the Super Bowl as BTS's comeback.
That would have been cool. They could have done a lot of cool. Like, there are a lot of cool things that could have happened. I mean,
imagine the Super Bowl halftime show, the grand return and reunion of BTS. That would have been such an event.
And I mean, what else?
Damien says you don't,
no, go ahead.
Don't have to know who the artist is. Know the message that he was giving. The message he was giving is what matters. I didn't watch, so I don't know what the message was, what the message he was trying to convey was.
If there was a message, there, I didn't get it. If there was a message there, I didn't get it either. So, if you got the message, awesome.
Job done.
I did. I watched the entire thing. I missed little bits of it while I was grabbing some pasta from the all you can eat buffet. But if there was a message, I didn't get. It didn't hit me.
Mm-hmm.
So
listen. I made the decision not to watch. And I will admit, because of recency bias, because I have not been entertained by a halftime show in a long time. I was looking at the entertainment factor of it, and I made the decision not to watch. Okay? I made that decision. If you got if there was a message, and if you got the message, that's wonderful. Then the entertainment aspect did its job. And now Damien says the message was saying the world should have love and not hate. Man, that's a message that should have been conveyed a long time ago, well before this.
That message has been going. That message has been going on since the 1970s, man. 1969, Woodstock, peace and love. Like what? So I mean, that's a message. That's a message that's been told since the beginning of time. Like
also,
yes, and unfortunately, there has been very little to keep it going, especially given the state of the world now.
Also, just want to answer.
Jen,
Vic's
you wanted to
question,
add
really.
something to it.
Yeah, just wanted to answer Vic's question really quick. He asked who BTS is.
Mm-hmm.
So BTS is like the biggest boy group in the entire world. They're a 7-member K-pop boy group. You might know some of their songs. You might know Dynamite. You might know Dynamite, Butter, Permission to Dance.
Mm-hmm.
They're BTS songs. It was like their big international break, and that really made them skyrocket off. And then they had a couple years, and then they had a couple years break because of Korea's mandatory military service.
Oh,
yeah. I was just trying to think. I was trying to think of the one BTS song that I know, but it'll come to me probably when I'm asleep later. It'll come to me, but
yeah, it's probably Dynamite. Everybody knows Dynamite.
Go ahead, Deets.
But that's all we're saying. And I already prefaced this, so if you want to call it hating on it, I prefaced it by saying I understand that it's not targeted towards me. It wasn't targeted towards me. If they targeted the halftime show towards me, they would have had They would have had a rock band out there. They would have had somebody out there playing guitar and rocking it out hardcore and going nuts. But they didn't have that, so they didn't target it towards me. They didn't give me an artist where even one artist, you could have named any Bad Bunny song and I would have said, okay, I don't know any. I don't know. So I don't know any of the songs. So I don't know if they sounded good. I don't know if they sounded bad. And as I said, I've watched the halftime shows. I've watched halftime shows where I didn't know who the guy was. I told you about my Bruno Mars story. I can tell you the other aspect of it. The Weeknd, who did a couple years ago. I didn't know who The Weeknd was. He came out, had a flat performance, and it was the worst thing I've ever seen. And Bad Bunny was not that. He was not that level. He was in the middle. He was in the middle of the two spectrums of he didn't inspire me to go see him. He did his job. He entertained his crowd. That's fine. It's done. But there's nothing to talk about. It was uneventful. There's nothing there to take apart. I mean, the biggest thing from the halftime show that got me was Ricky Martin was there, and half the bar didn't even know who he was. Half the bar I was with was like, who's that guy? And I looked up and I go, is it? I was the only one in the bar that was like, isn't that Ricky Martin? And everybody was like, that is Ricky Martin. Holy crap. And we're like, okay, moving on.
I like Damien's idea. Like, what about Lady Gaga?
Lady Gaga was there.
No, but like, what if they got her to perform instead? Like, come on. I'm sure everyone knows at least one Lady Gaga song.
Oh yeah, everybody knows Lady Gaga songs, and that probably would have been a better show and I'm sure there would have been a performance and stuff. And again, they've done this. What Bad Bunny did last night, it's not like it hasn't been done before. 3 years ago, J-Lo and Shakira did the halftime show. So it's not like, and Bad Bunny was in that one. Bad Bunny was brought out on stage during that one. So like, there have been shows before that have done the exact same thing he did last night. What his did not show, it didn't break the show. It didn't make you go, holy, I want to see more of this. It made you go, okay, that was a concert. It was good. It was good. It was fine. Now let's get back to football. And if that was your goal, if your goal was to do nothing, he accomplished the goal.
Dr. Dre.
Victor's comment reads: the problem is the halftime show. The halftime show is less about the music and entertainment and more about the political grandstand. Ain't that the truth? That's why I love the halftime show at SoFi. I believe it was a show of California love. True, very true. There wasn't no political.
And if there was political grandstanding last night, I didn't notice it. I didn't care. It did not affect. I'm sure you're going to see people going. I'm sure you're going to see people on the right attacking it for being all in Spanish and being You know, and I'm sure you're gonna get that crowd. I'm sure you're gonna get people on the left that I'm sure they're gonna be pumped up about see what he did for immigrants, and they're gonna push those agendas. As somebody who does not care about doesn't care about right, doesn't care about left, I want to come straight down the middle. I didn't feel any way. I felt meh. I felt okay. Yeah. I felt that way. It did not. And all I said was it did not do. It was uneventful. There's nothing I can point back to and say that was the marquee moment of the performance. I don't have that moment. The same thing about the game. The game on the field. There's no moment in the game where I can go, that was a Super Bowl moment. There wasn't one.
I didn't find.
I can't find a marquee commercial. A marquee commercial, even of like that was a great Super Bowl commercial. There wasn't one.
The silly, Victor says the silly thing is Turning Point USA did a halftime show in protest of Bad Bunny, and I believe Kid Rock headline that. Can we just get back to pure entertainment, please? That's all I want.
Let's just get back. I want to get back to good entertainment. Like I don't know. Good entertainment, like I don't know. A certain person's 3D concert.
I mean, the NFL had it. They had it. They had it right there. They had it right there in front of them. San Francisco, California, the hometown of Metallica. You have a chance to put Metallica on stage. You don't even have to really do anything. You just say, hey, Metallica, you're in the area. Just show up. And show up, play a couple songs off the Black Album, and move on.
Yeah.
Everybody would be talking about it.
That was the band Ryan suggested when I had him on for Coffee with McCarthy. You had Metallica sitting right there. You had a legendary band right there with songs that people recognize, with songs that people know. You could have threw
in their hometown.
You know what? You could have had Metallica on. You could have had them sing Master of Puppets, just so people could have shouted out, "Obey your."
Yes. Oh, you could. I mean, Metallica's catalog. Metallica has a catalog that everybody would recognize, and that's the thing. That's the thing. So we're sitting here talking about, it was more about the message. If it was about the message, I didn't get a message. I didn't care. I didn't care. I wanted to see something good. I wanted to see a good performance. I wanted to see dancers doing crazy things. Like again, Shakira and J-Lo. I'm not a fan of I'm not a fan of their music. But you know what? When I was watching their halftime performance and watching dancers on the sides doing like ribbon flips and stuff and all the stuff that was going on stage, that was entertaining. It was, you could go, that was an amazing. What are we pointing to that was amazing last night? There wasn't anything. It was just done. It was just performed.
Yeah, you want amazing? How about getting Jenny from Blackpink?
You want amazing? How about this? From the dog. This shameless plug of Jen's MMD on March 12th is brought to you by Dogfather's Gaming Bar and Nightclub. We aren't a media front. I swear. Don't look at the books. There.
Yeah, shameless plug of my 3D MMD concert in March.
Could have had Metallica there. Could have had Huntrix. Oh, Huntrix would have blown the place up.
Huntrix, yes.
And we had twice as many viewers.
We could have had them do Golden. Heck, you could have even let them do I don't know how it's done, what it sounds like. They're itching to do those songs.
But just to play devil's advocate to Huntrix, being involved, when did Huntrix hit it big?
When K-pop Demon Hunters came out. Golden is
right,
now double platinum.
When was that? Was that That was kind of late last year, or at least mid last year, right?
June. It was in June 2020.
In June.
But the song is still popular and still charting to this day. K-pop Demon Hunters is still in the top 10 movies in Netflix.
But that's why. But Jen, that's why this didn't. That's why the NFL didn't pick it. The NFL is right now putting together the show for next year. What I'm saying is they didn't, Huntrix didn't hit it big till June. They had already announced Bad Bunny. They had already announced Bad Bunny would be doing it. They announced that in like April or May.
Yeah, but what good is it going to be next year when they perform?
But that's how these things work. These things work. These things don't work on, all right, what's popular now? It's what was popular a year ago, because that's what they're thinking. They're thinking, what are we doing for next year? What are we doing for next year? They're going to announce it probably before the draft, which is in April. They're going to announce who's there.
The show is going to keep working if they keep planning it a year in advance, because by the time next year comes, that thing's probably going to be outdated, no longer trending.
Oh, because of the logistics of having to put together that kind of event. I understand. It takes time to coordinate all that stuff. You can't ask. And of course, this is the NFL. The NFL has NFL things going on as well. They're not the halftime show is like 18th on the list of 18th on the list of things. They got schedule making to do, they got draft prep, they got the combine, they've got all the things that they have to do to get ready for the actual football season.
Yeah.
So they try to get the halftime show out of the way early. Like, all right, here's who's going to be there. You're going to be there. Start putting your show together. And they had people that said, "Oh, he just came up with this on and Bad Bunny was planning this for at least a year. At least a year out. He had what he was going to do out there. So, I mean, but that's why you wouldn't have seen a thing like Huntrix, because they didn't hit it until June, and that's not enough time to get everything ready. To be honest, I would have rather seen Green Day do the halftime. I would have rather seen Green Day do the halftime show.
Wasn't Green Day scheduled to do the halftime show anyway?
They did the pregame. They did the pregame.
Oh.
They did a pregame concert. They did a full concert. They did a full concert. I mean, but again, they just couldn't help them. And we talked about it in the Facebook chat, so that's why I bring it up. But they couldn't help them. They couldn't help themselves. Of course, they end the show with "American Idiot." I mean, they couldn't help themselves.
Did they change the lyric?
Nope, they did not change the lyrics at all. They actually got censored. They actually had a moment where it got censored. They definitely took a shot. They definitely took a shot at Trump, which got censored because the music, everything stopped, but the fans popped off. So you knew something happened. But I would have told them, hey, don't do that song. Just do When I Come Around and do some of your stuff. Just don't play that song. Not in the climate we're in right now. Just leave it alone. It's going to trigger.
It's one of the songs. Of course, they're going.
But it's going to trigger people. You have other songs. You have other songs you can do. Just leave that one out. Leave that one out for right now, because it's just going to cause a headache that you don't want. We don't want this in our pregame. We don't want the headache of it. We want the pregame to be about what we set up in the pregame, which was all the Super Bowl greats that came out, and we want that to be our thing. Please leave. I would have told them, please leave that song out. But of course, they ended the show with it. So it is what it is. But back to the game. At least Joe Montana was there.
That's about the only thing I watched, honestly. Let me read some comments here. Damien says, question, was Michael Jackson halftime show better because he was doing the same thing that Bad Bunny was doing and everyone got his message? Michael Jackson was entertaining the folks in Pasadena, California.
Michael Jackson's also the greatest entertainer of all time. So
King of Pop.
Yes, and everybody was clamoring for Michael Jackson to do a halftime show for years.
Yep.
Years they wanted Michael Jackson. So they yes, that was entertainment just because it was Michael Jackson. It was anticipated for years.
I'd love
me
to
get caught
see
up on
Jenny
these
or
comments here.
Lisa from Blackpink do the halftime show. I would love to see that.
Let me
Could you
read some of these
imagine if we get a
comments here.
whole performance of Like Jenny?
Oh my gosh.
I
Let me
would
catch up on the
love
comments
that
here.
so much.
Victor says, and Goodell misses more than Shador from the 10-yard line, or like Kevin Stefanski pulling Shador on a 2-point conversion. Ryan McCarthy with us is good Monday Snow Crew, checking in before we start our stream at 11 a.m. Hope everyone is staying warm. I certainly am. My office is warmed up and I still got an electric blanket over me, so I'm good. Dog says Green Day did the pregame but took a shot at the government. Not surprised. Victor Locke says, good morning, supervillain. I didn't get that right, Victor. I butchered it. I'm sorry. And McCarthy says, tell Green Day not to take it to politics. Good luck. They sold out years ago. Victor Locke says, it's going to divide people again. McCarthy says, Michael Jordan's halftime show was the greatest Super Bowl halftime show ever. Close second, Bruno Mars. I'll agree with that. You know what? I'll have a tie for second between Bruno Mars and Prince when he was in Miami.
Prince, I was gonna say Prince has to be up there. I mean, for me personally, and again, I was 13. No, I was probably 16, 17 years old at the time.
Are you dating yourself again?
Probably. But Janet Jackson, Justin Timberlake, as a 17-year-old male, that is the greatest moment in television of all time. Okay? All-time greatest moment in television.
The malfunction lives forever. Victor Locke says, Bad Bunny is nowhere near the caliber of Michael Jackson. That I'll agree with, and I don't even know his catalog, and I don't want to know. It was McCarthy says it was -9 degrees when I left my house to get blood work this morning. Thankfully, this cold snap will end soon. It's ending here pretty soon.
Okay,
Big Dog goes
out.
MJ, Bruno, Avengers, and SoFi, Prince, my top 4.
Hear me out.
I can live with that.
Hear me out. You know who else could have been better than Bad Bunny? I want you guys to stick with me on this. I want you guys to hear me out. I know it's never going to happen, but Hololive English.
I was thinking of that too. The only thing is they have to do it in Los Angeles because of their tie to the
They've done concerts in New York before.
Look where the Super Bowl is next year.
In Los Angeles. That's why I mentioned it.
SoFi Stadium.
SoFi Stadium.
Let's take a break.
I think Hololive English together.
Jen, I think that would be something that if they had an artist headlining who could incorporate them into the performance, I think that would be something big, because I think in our circle or people who know of Hololive, I think yes, that would hit big. But as far thinking of somebody who doesn't even know what they are, they would be like, what the hell is this? That would be the reaction of somebody who doesn't know what's going on. They would be like, what the hell am I watching?
How do you think baseball fans felt when they had a Hololive night with the Dodgers?
Just a moment. Let me jump in with a break. Going to take a quick break. Pizzle's standing by. We will get to the football of everything. And I will ask this question. What will your team need to do to make it to SoFi Stadium next year? Congrats to the Seahawks. They're the Super Bowl champs. And I think they're going to be around for a long time, as long as they keep building it correctly. As Victor said earlier in the show, the Purgatory has now become Titletown. Oh, there's a question we can lead into the break with. Which team is the new Purgatory? I think we all have a few answers. Snowman in the morning, back in the deuce.
This is Snowman in the morning.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner.
Go. Excellent. Soccer is fun. Yeah, I saw you guys out there. We're the family.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were on my team.
Owen, let's talk for a second.
Hi, Ellen. Come on in.
When you came into my life, it was a whirlwind.
I just can't do it.
It'll come to you.
It won't.
We had a lot to learn about each other. A lot. Hey, that's good. Things were changing so quickly. We didn't know what the future would hold. Any of us. I just wish you felt more at home now. But we knew you would always be a part of it. Adopting you was the best decision in our life. And I am so proud to call you my son.
Whether it's news, the largest egg producer finds bird flu in chickens at a Texas plant, weather, devastating tornadoes rip through the heart of the United States, inspiration, a breast cancer survivor completed the journey of chemotherapy, and now begins a future one of matrimony, or sports. Michael Jordan is shown on a photo with Diddy. LeBron James has a video extolling the virtues of a Diddy party. This has been yet another beating a dead horse presentation. We got you covered. BS3 Network, in association with Comey Media Incorporated, proudly present The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. Live every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central. Because we take this job so serious.
And Father O'Shaughnessy need to go to hell. That's what he needs.
What did Father O'Shaughnessy do?
I quit. We're done here. I'm done. We're out of here.
What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the morning.
I'm sorry, Don. Couldn't resist that one. 10 minutes before the hour and someone's waiting for us.
Push the button. Football freaks, gridiron geeks. Bottoms up.
Oh boy. Well, that game sucked. Dr. K.
Yeah, it did.
I'm sorry.
Oh, hell no!
Snowman, I'm sorry.
Well, that game sucked.
Yeah, it did.
Oh,
now get out my face, you thirsty bitches.
And the music cut off right at the right time. Hey, Pistol is with us. Alex Putnam, the man in charge of the pain and game pickings. How are you, partner?
Oh man, that game sucked last night.
Dude,
Classic line. There we go.
You know what, Pizzle? You'd be so proud of Dr. K because she said that verbatim on the way to bed last night. Cuss word and all.
Let's go.
She walked by me and she says, "Are you still watching this blank?" Honestly, honey, no. She goes in the kitchen, she comes back out to me, gives me a hug, and she goes, "Well, that game bleeping sucked." And walked off.
Well,
and walks off.
As far as the game is considered, and I wish Dog was here. I wish Dog was here for this. But another thing we had a conversation about at the bar, NFL, you couldn't get a Patriots fan to introduce the New England Patriots. You had to get an Eagles fan, John Bon Jovi, who is a Philadelphia Eagle. He is a diehard Philadelphia fan.
He's an Eagle fan.
Everyone knows this.
Couldn't get Mark Wahlberg.
You couldn't
Right.
Wait.
John Cena.
I'm gonna get hit for this, but I think y'all know where this running joke is going. You know who should have introduced the New England Patriots?
Bobby Brown.
I can't even say it without laughing.
Bobby Brown.
Because because I know this is good.
Why?
Because I know this. Thank you, Deets. You knew where I was going.
Should have had Wise. Should have had Wise. El Jefe do it. Come on now.
You know why? You know
We
why
all we got. We all we need. Boston.
But that was the first thing. The first thing that comes up. They're like, and now to introduce the Patriots, John Bon Jovi. And I said it out loud at the bar. Isn't he an Eagles fan? And everyone looked at me. Everyone looked at me like, is he? And I had one person who was like, yeah, he is. And I was like, he owned the Philadelphia Soul. There's a reason why his football team he owned was in Philadelphia. It was because he's an Eagles fan. He's been an Eagles fan his whole life.
You got it right with The Rock introducing the teams in Miami. Hello, he is Miami Hurricane. So he introduced both teams there. You know what you need to do? And I know we'll get to what your team needs to do to get to the Super Bowl in a moment. But you know what they need to do? They need to bring one of my dearest friends, Paul Olden, back to the microphone and introduce the starting offense or the starting defense.
You know what you could have done? You could have even had Snowman himself introducing them. He's completely unbiased. He could have introduced both teams for you.
I wouldn't have been able to do it. Now with last night's game, even being
You could have given a shout out to the San Francisco play-by-play people and had the San Francisco play-by-play voices do the intros for both teams. That way it's unbiased. You could have had them introduce, and you're giving love to the city that you're in, the stadium you're in, and not just the teams that are there. You're giving love to the place you are.
And that's a great suggestion because Greg Papa beat cancer also.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, and Greg Papa is a known voice. It is a known voice.
It's a known voice in the Bay Area because for 18 years he was the voice of the Raiders when they were in Oakland. Mm-hmm. And now
he's a known voice globally. He's done work for Westward One as far as that's hosting games for the NFL on Westward One. So everyone who's listened to a game would know who that is. And like I said, just give love to the city you're in. Give love to the place you are. It only makes sense. Now I don't know if Chris Pratt is a Seattle fan, but he did a good job introducing. I just know that John Bon Jovi is an Eagles fan, so that made no sense.
Yeah, John Bon Jovi introducing the Patriots. How wrong? How wrong is that?
I don't know.
We're coming up on the top of the hour. You know the greatest piece of homage I saw last night? They had the greatest quarterback of all time do the coin toss.
Yes.
I was good.
And everybody else is in a suit. And everybody else is in a suit. And Joe Montana, Joe Cool is just out there black t-shirt and just like he rolled out and was like, "I'm coming, get out of the way."
Wait a minute.
I was gonna make a Caleb Williams joke, but okay.
We'll do that during the second hour. Our second hour is going to be, what does your team need to do to either get back to the Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl, and we can eliminate the Cleveland Browns right now.
Because they're the Cleveland Browns.
Because Shedeur Sanders is their quarterback. Let's take our halftime break. And Pizzle, I'm going to lead off with you when we come back because
oh no!
Wait! I got to do this one. Cleveland Browns make the Super Bowl.
That's a lie.
Turn off Madden.
There's a reason why people bring the Browns to the Super Bowl. There's a reason why that's a joke.
Hey, am I? So you guys can make the joke about Caleb Williams being the greatest quarterback, but I'm not.
We're not saying that.
We didn't say that. We said Cleveland.
What about Don in the chat? He told me to shut up.
I talked about a different kind of bowl and a different kind of brown, but the same kind of Cleveland Brown. So I don't know where Caleb Williams got put into this.
Before we go to break,
it was a joke. Do you not remember the joke we keep making all the time here, Deep?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they keep making it in the chat. They keep making it in the chat. It's been in the chat since we started the show.
Yeah, I was gonna make that joke again when you said the greatest quarterback was the one doing the coin toss, and I was gonna say, oh, Caleb Williams is there.
Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams, shut your mouth.
There it is.
All right, it's halftime, and we'll talk about what teams need to do to get to the big game. And as I say, we can eliminate the Cleveland Browns right now. Second hour, Snowman in the morning. Back in a minute.
This is Snowman in the morning.
Whether it's news, the largest egg producer finds bird flu in chickens at a Texas plant, weather, devastating tornadoes rip through the heart of the United States, inspiration, a breast cancer survivor completed the journey of chemotherapy and now begins a future one of matrimony or sports. Michael Jordan is shown on a photo with Diddy. LeBron James has a video extolling the virtues of a Diddy party. This has been yet another beating a dead horse presentation. We got you covered. BS3 Network, in association with Comey Media Incorporated, proudly present The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. Live every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central.
You can say you're not impressed. You can say you're not happy. You can say all these things, but no, whatever the case may be, the Buckeyes are on top of the football world. And it's just where it is.
The SEC.
And what does Georgia do? Well, as a team that has a championship pedigree would do, they came out full guns blazing, just like a tested SEC team would do. And
Big 12.
That team right there that is ranked 15 that put up 45 points.
Yes, sir.
They were picked dead last at the beginning of the season.
The ACC.
Start with the biggest name first. Chapel Bill now. It's no longer called Chapel Hill. It's called Chapel Bill because Bill Belichick is now the head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. The CLP rankings, do away with that.
Right.
Do away with it.
Bring down the gridiron. on the Playmakers Blog Network YouTube channel, and where you can find podcasts. Because we take this job so serious.
Nacho fry. Would you like a nacho fry? Would you like a nacho fry?
What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the Morning.
I want a nacho fry, Kura.
Of course you would. We owe y'all an ID. This is Snowman in the Morning, and I can't stop laughing.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
You're listening to WJKS-TV, your Hoosier Sports Home and Indiana Sports Hub play-by-play voice.
You're listening to WQVZ, 1700 AM Mission Radio.
In the name of the Tom Brady, the man of the Ramirez, and the David Ortiz, amen.
Are you kidding me?
Ball goes Benton, Caleb Williams.
I am too old for this bullshit.
You like that? You like that?
Chapel Bill now.
I can't even with you. I can't even with you.
What they say? What they say?
You putting my voice in there.
Oh, you mean like this?
Ball goes
No.
Benton, Caleb Williams.
Why?
That's what you get.
Why must you do that to me?
That's what you get.
What do you mean what I get?
That's what you get.
That was for those of you that wanted to know, that was this pretty lady one day saying,
Ball goes Benton, Caleb Williams.
I didn't think I
Never play
recorded
that
it.
again.
Ball goes Benton, Caleb Williams.
I will walk out of here right now.
No, you won't.
No.
Yes, I will.
No, you won't.
Yes, I will.
No, you won't.
Yes, I will.
I
You
ain't
give me
got
one.
no time.
You give me one
So I know-
reason why I shouldn't walk.
I know you said you wanted to start with Pizzle for fixing your team, but the chat is flowing right now.
Oh, I know.
And I want to address the dog. I want to address the dog because dog here.
Hold on.
Yes, the offensive line got destroyed last night, but that's because you had two rookies starting on the left side. Your line is going to get better just by attrition of those guys not being rookies next year and being able to get better. What the Patriots need to do to get back to the Super Bowl is, you saw it last night. They need to get guys who can get off of corner. They need to get guys who Drake May can get the ball to.
Yep.
In situation. Stephon Diggs, as great as Stephon Diggs is, he is not going to get off press coverage at his age and at the age he is and the development he is in the NFL. That's not his guy. That's not his way. They need a burner. They need somebody who can split the defense and get into open space and open space up for a guy like Diggs. They need to get some wide receivers for Drake May to improve with, because you saw it last night. They could not get any separation from that Seattle defense.
What the Patriots also need is a third down receiver. The biggest thing the Patriots need on offense is a third down receiver, because as you saw,
Well, their third down receiver is Hunter Henry.
No, not last night.
No, it was Mac Hollins, and he got the touchdown last night.
It was Mac Hollins. They need a true third down receiver. I understand distributing the ball to everybody, but you didn't use Hunter Henry the way you needed to use him. But the Patriots are in a good spot because no one expected them to get.
They are.
Oh no! No one expected them to make. First of all, no one expected them, myself included, to make the playoffs.
I did.
Second of all, no one really. Okay, Pizzle. No,
not as a division champ.
No,
Wait
that
a
was
minute.
division
Pizzle
champ as a wild
actually
card.
did.
Yeah, exactly.
Pizzle actually did get them to predict them to get to the playoffs. So give you that. But they are in a great spot right now. They are in a great spot.
And they
Now-
still have a ton of cap space, so they can make a lot of
They got
moves.
A ton of cap space. They have a ton of cap space, and they got a ton of draft capital also.
Yep.
And this draft class at all positions are loaded. Now, speaking of loaded, what does your Dolphins need to do?
Oh well, we got to hit the reset button. We got to build through the draft. We have a lot of draft capital. We got to build through the draft and get a secondary.
I was just going to ask, major position of need?
Secondary. Safeties, corners, secondary, period.
Yeah, because your coverage got blown up.
And, our quarterback is
your secondary has been suffering for 3 years now. 3 years running.
Mm-hmm.
3 years, they've torn the top off of that Miami secondary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you look at our secondary, it's Ife Melifonwu and Minka Fitzpatrick. And
let that sink in, Dolphins fans.
And our starting cornerback is a guy by the name of Storm Duck. Yeah.
The name alone.
Mm-hmm. That's all you need to know right there.
Who's guarding this receiver? Storm Duck. What?
Storm Duck.
Storm Duck, who plays for the Dolphins.
Probably one of the best names in the league, not going to lie.
It's a wonderful name. He just can't play.
Just can't play because he's always hurt.
He just can't play.
We do need to address the quarterback position because Tua most likely is not going to be there next year.
So who gets the nod under center?
So it's either going to be Quinn Ewers, which I'm not going to lie, I'm okay with that because what we saw last year, the last couple of games, he did all right. Or we bring in a veteran like, I don't know, Gardner Minshew. I wouldn't mind that. Malik Willis, because he knows Jeff Hafley. He knows John Eric Sullivan from the Packers. We could bring him down. We'll see. We're good at running back. We're good at receiver. Maybe right tackle because Austin Jackson is probably going to be gone as well. We're pretty good on the defensive line. Linebackers were all right. But we just need a few more pieces. Just a few more pieces. We should be back to where we need to be.
You're probably going to need another number 2 receiver because we know Tyreek Hill. If Tyreek Hill is able to even walk again, that would be an amazing feat. Let alone play another football game. I don't see any way he makes a comeback to the NFL. So I think you're set at a number 1 receiver. I think you need a complement to your number 1 receiver, and that's where I think drafting should go as far as where the Dolphins are situated.
I mean,
like you said, secondary. They need a lot of secondary help, and with Drake May and Josh Allen and going against those guys 2 times a year, you need a secondary that can play.
We have 5 picks in the top 100, so we should do something. But I think one of those picks, probably the second round pick, we'll probably use as draft capital to get rid of Tua and his contract. So basically offloading it.
Yes.
So we'll see. We shall see.
Who would be better, bringing in at the quarterback position, bringing in a veteran like Gardner Minshew, as you mentioned, or do you give the ball to Quinn Ewers and say, go with it?
I would love Gardner Minshew. Are you kidding me? I've been following that guy since he was at Washington State. That guy is awesome.
I think the move would be to get whoever you can get on a 1 year deal.
Right.
If you can get a guy on a 1 year deal, because if he does well, awesome. We did well for 1 year, and we can retool it next year.
Yep.
But if it goes bad, you're only stuck with him for 1 year, and next year's quarterback class is loaded, so you can bring in you're in the Arch Manning sweepstakes. You have Julian Sayin coming out. You have Dante Moore. You have all of so many quarterbacks. Josh Hoover at Indiana. You have so many quarterbacks in next year's class that you can, for a 1 year deal, that you bring in whoever you can for 1 year.
Right. Exactly. Just like 7 years ago when we had Ryan Fitzpatrick, we had him for that 1 year, and we went 5-11. Got Tua. Should have probably gotten Herbert instead. Looking back, but
I agree with
it's probably gonna be like one of those seasons. Just sit back and enjoy the ride for what it is, because the light will be at the end of the tunnel come 2027.
All right. The chat has been flying.
I saw Victor Lock, Kurt 2 Chainz' cousin.
No, just no. Just no.
If you can get Atlanta to eat most of that contract and bring Kirk Cousins in for 1 year, that's not a terrible situation. That's not a terrible move. The only thing is you don't bring him in for his whole contract. If you can get the Falcons to eat that, contract, and you take him at a percentage of that contract, absolutely. You would. Kirk Cousins is an upgrade from anybody else that's out on the market right now.
True.
Says
the problem is the albatross is that contract is absolutely insane.
Initially,
and they paid and I asked Pizzle this once before, and they paid him for what? 3 concussions. In 14, they 3 concussions in 14 months, or in 14 games rather. They paid him for that.
Yep, we did it.
All right, I will go next. I will go next. The first thing my 49ers need to do is to get healthy, because we lost a ton of pieces.
Salute.
Bless you.
Sorry.
It's all right. We're looking at 7 total picks, but none in like the 6th or the 7th round because we traded those away. Where the 49ers need to hit, you got 3 picks, including 2 comps in round 4. That is where you start finding your gems in round 4, and then we got a complimentary pick in round 5. Yeah, with the 49ers. What we need is a new training staff.
Oh, that works.
What we need is a new training staff, and this is me talking about my own team, because the last 4 years. Well, let me take it back from an ICU. Hey, it's always been health issues in the Kyle Shanahan era. It's always been health issues in the Kyle Shanahan era, but for them to go 12-5. And be on the cusp of the NFC West title and lose to the eventual Super Bowl champions, I'll take a season like that, even with all the injuries. The problem? Don't know when Nick Bosa is going to be back. Don't know when Fred Warner is going to be back. Definitely do not plan to see George Kittle this year because of a torn ACL when he tore it, and that was in the playoffs against Philadelphia.
Right.
And that's a year-long recovery process.
At least.
So unless a miracle happens and it is George the Animal Kittle, I don't think we'll see Kittle this year. McCaffrey got through a full season unscathed. Now take 2 weeks off in an ice bath, Christian McCaffrey. Rest your body, and then you can get ready for off-season workouts. The other problem that we need to fix, and we need to fix it desperately, is our offensive line. We got to get big. Save Trent. Well, these are 49ers offensive line. They're good, but they need a better offensive line coach. How's that? And they need a better scheme. But this is Kyle Shanahan we're talking about. You got to protect your quarterback. I always harp on the offensive line when it comes to different teams, and I would do the same with my 49ers. You gotta get better on the offensive line. And the other thing that the 49ers need desperately is some depth. because they had none of it later in the season, especially when everybody wound up in the ICU or the hospital ward at Levi's Stadium. Biggest thing Niners need to fix, they need to get some depth, especially when your main pieces go down, because as it was exposed late in the season, even with the win in Philadelphia, we had nothing behind our starters. Nothing. And for us to pull out a win in Philadelphia, I'll take that. Nuth and Ing, exactly. We had
that's a problem. That's a problem. That's the problem with the 49ers right now. Is how do you get depth? How do you get depth? Well, you get depth by bringing players in. They can't bring anybody in because they have Kittle on contract. They have Christian McCaffrey on contract. They have Brock Purdy signed now to a big contract. So your options. Fred Warner, Bosa is on a big contract. All your guys are on big contracts. All those guys on big contracts, you now can't bring in top level backup guys. You need to hope that your 4th and 5th round picks, which are crapshoots anyway, you have to hope you hit gems at that.
Well, there's 50
at that spot.
There's 40 to 50 million. Well, there's 40 to 50 million available in cap space for San Francisco, thanks to a large void year cap hits from major contracts like Nick Bosa's insurance policy kicking in and things like that. So they got the room. It's just going to depend on how many they can bring in.
But you're gonna a lot of that is going to go to getting a number one wide receiver. There's no number one wide receiver on this team. Ricky Pearsall ain't it.
Pearsall's hurt. He's not it. Ayuk's out of there. All right. There's been flirtation talk with bringing Deebo Samuel back, but he's 31 years old. I wouldn't want that cancer back on my team. So
Deebo's not a number one. Deebo's not a number one wide receiver. He's a great player, but he is not a number one wide receiver at his size. At his size, he's not a guy you can line up wide and say, "Hey, go beat the other corner." He is a guy that has to line up in the slot. You have to motion him. You have to use him in other ways. He's not a number one guy.
So the receiving room needs to be blown up and rebuilt. And hell no, we didn't want to Listen, Damien. Your Chicago Bears were stupid enough to pay DJ Moore. Your Chicago Bears are stupid enough to be stuck with him for the next 4 years.
Hey, it worked the last time they brought somebody from Carolina. The last time they brought somebody from Carolina to the Bay Area, it worked out pretty well.
True.
So
yeah, his name is Christian McCaffrey. and remember,
DJ Moore.
Your Chicago Bears risked mortgage, blown up, yeeted away your entire future. Say it with me, ladies and gentlemen. For DJ Moore. And on top of that, now that I have the element available and I can really troll Mr. Damian Hernandez, and then Pizzle, get ready. You backed the Brinks truck up twice.
2 times. For Caleb
Williams. And that joke came about because of Ryan McCarthy. McCarthy gave me that joke, so I ran with it. All right.
You mean the greatest quarterback of all time, Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams. Shut your mouth. Now that Dietz is here, I'm just going to see the floor to him about the Cowboys and see if Victor agrees with anything that he has to say. Go for it, Dietz.
First of all, get a defensive coordinator that understands. Put somebody in the middle of the gosh darn field. That's the first thing. Second thing is get bodies in there who can actually be in the middle of the field. So meaning we need a lot of linebacker help. You go back to Cowboys teams that were promising. You look at who they had in the middle: Dexter Coakley, Sean Lee, and Paul Puzlesny. You had a lot of these. You had a lot of guys in the middle of the field who could delegate what to do on the defense. So get a guy in there who could play middle linebacker. Get some. You traded away your edge pass rusher, so you need edge pass rushing. But overall, what they need is secondary. They need secondary help. And look, I love Travion Diggs, but you need somebody else. Travion Diggs is great in man coverage, but you need somebody else who can help cover because he can't cover zones. He's not a zone player. He can't do it. So you got to man up with him. And if you're going to go man coverage, you got to get pressure on the quarterback. So you need edge pass rusher and safety help. That's what the Cowboys need. Running back, I know what everybody's going to say. They need a running back. Jadon Blue looked pretty good. They brought him in to do something, and they never used him till the last game of the season. So I don't know what he is yet. So he could be a good fit. But the things I would look for: middle linebacker, pass rush, and secondary. Fix the defense. The offense is going to be the offense. They already franchised Pickens. So your receiver core is set. Just go after defense. All defense.
Defense wins championships. Saw it last night.
I can dig that. Defense wins championship. Just ask the Seattle Seahawks.
Saw it last night.
Victor says Cowboys have to either have to donate all their earnings to Jesus or send that escapee Gerald back to Hades to get back to the Super Bowl. This is our comment of the day, right? Gerald. Thank you.
Calling Mr. Quint Bates. I love it.
I just don't think. I think Jerry. I might be sympathetic to Jerry. I don't know. Might just be a homer here. I don't think Jerry is, but Jerry hasn't been the problem. Jerry has not been a problem for the last 3 years, other than bringing in coaches who have no idea what they're doing. Other than that, but you can only roll with who you got. But I mean, the minute we go back to week 2, this was week 3. Week 3 was when I called Packers-Cowboys game, and they didn't have a guy in the middle of they didn't have a player in the middle of the field. Any coach should have noticed that. Any coach should have noticed. I noticed it from the beginning of the game until I went on that rant. And what happened? They put a guy in the middle of the field, and they started to make plays, and it started to help them. Any coach should have known that going in. And anybody who came in with a game plan of, hey, our game plan is we're going to spread our defense out. My first question would have been, who's in the middle of the field? Oh, we don't have anybody. No. Move that. Move somebody into the middle of the field. We cannot play like this. This cannot happen. They're going to pick us apart. And what do? They pick them apart. So,
pick you apart.
But back to the point. The point of Jerry. Jerry's been quiet. Jerry has not. He hasn't been an albatross. He hasn't said you need to sign this guy or you need to sign that guy or we're going to give a lot of money here. Micah Parsons was never going to re-sign with the Cowboys. Never. It was never going to happen. Jerry offered him the biggest contract in the history of the NFL, and he turned it down. Once he turned down the biggest contract, there's nothing you can do other than trade him. You either keep him on the team and let him sit there and sulk and do nothing for your team, or you trade him and get assets for him. So that's what they did. So everybody that says, "Oh, this was Jerry. Jerry just wanted to trade him." Jerry offered him the biggest deal ever, and he turned it down. There's nothing you can do after that,
man.
So Jerry's not the problem.
I will never forget that game you called with Victor, the Packers and the Cowboys, and during a timeout in which I usually roll a commercial. D says, "No, I got to say something," and then he leans in with that rant. Put somebody in the middle of the doggone field. It's not hard. And then he coupled it with. He said, "Put somebody in the middle of the doggone field. It's not hard." I'm in the producer's chair and I'm laughing my head off. All right, Pizzo.
But other than that, they're doing pretty good.
Lend your football expertise. Anything to counter what Deet says or add to it?
For the Cowboys? For the Cowboys? No, he pretty much nailed it right in the head. I mean, you got to get that secondary needs help. Because, you know, Diggs, he's gone. I think your guy's still Bland, Deron Bland, he's still there, right?
Bland is re-signed. Bland was re-signed after they traded Micah Parsons. They re-signed Bland, which again, they would not have been able to do had they signed Micah Parsons. They would not have been able to sign Bland. So, take that for what it's worth. I mean, Bland is not great, but he's the best we have. So we had to re-sign him. You got to start somewhere.
Exactly. You just got to build on that.
Stay in the NFC East, and let's go to Pizzle here. New York Football Giants. What do they need for repair?
Where do we start? Where do we start? Oh,
Giants need what they need. What everybody needs: defensive backs.
Maybe
they have no defense. They have no defensive backs.
What about a wide receiver too to pair him with Malik Neighbors?
Give
Drake Mayo a new toy. Exactly, more weapons for Jackson Dart.
Well, it depends on what they do with. Like we saw what happened when Malik Neighbors was there. Waylon Robinson was a great number two. He was a great number two. He's a great compliment. Once Neighbors went down and they needed Robinson to be, you saw Robinson's not a number one.
Right.
So you can make do with Robinson if Neighbors is there and Neighbors is able to get back to what he was. I think specialty wise, the Giants are all set. The Giants are set at wide receiver. They're set at running back. They're set at quarterback. The offensive line they need a lot of offensive line help. Offensive line would be huge because you got to keep Jackson Dart upright.
Got to keep him healthy.
But in that division, and in that conference, you need guys who can cover. You need coverage guys. The Giants have a great defensive line. They have spent a lot of top picks on defensive linemen, whether it's Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter, Dexter Jackson, or the guy in the middle, the Clemson guy in the middle. They've got a great defensive line. Their defensive line is set. Their secondary is awful. Just watch the Cowboys the Cowboys game that went to overtime, and they got shredded. They need defensive backs, primarily safety, but I would take any defensive back.
And then you have the case of their offensive coordinator in Matt Nagy.
Matt, I understand Damien's upset with Nagy because Nagy was a terrible head coach. But Nagy's a good offensive. He's a good offensive coordinator. Offensive coordinator, he can put a good offense together. He can put a good offense together, and with the pieces the Giants have, it'll be interesting to see what kind of an offense he has. Does he spread teams out? Does he allow Scarborough to bang inside? They have an interesting cast with the Giants where they can play smash mouth football, or they can spread you out with Malik Neighbors, Robinson, Maybe they bring in a low level wide receiver who's a burner and just try to get away with that. It'll be interesting, but we'll see.
Let's take a break. Our final break of the morning. We'll keep going over what teams need to do to get to Los Angeles next year. And I'm going to have a little fun with Damian Hernandez. But first, tonight, SEC women's basketball Monday takes us to Vanderbilt as the Oklahoma Sooners, ranked number 11, take on the Vanderbilt Commodores, ranked number 7 from historic Memorial Gym in Tennessee. That is a 9 p.m. tip-off. I incorrectly said 7 there. So our pregame is 8:30. Okay. That's a 9 p.m. tip-off, and that's a feature game that we're going to have. We're going to have women's basketball all throughout the course of the week. Snowman in the Morning continues in a deuce.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Whether it's news, the largest egg producer finds bird flu in chickens at a Texas plant, weather, devastating tornadoes rip through the heart of the United States, inspiration, a breast cancer survivor completed the journey of chemotherapy and now begins a future one of matrimony or sports. Michael Jordan is shown on a photo with Diddy. LeBron James has a video extolling the virtues of a Diddy party. This has been yet another beating a dead horse presentation. We got you covered. BS3 Network, in association with Comey Media Incorporated, proudly present The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. Live every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central.
You can say you're not impressed. You can say you're not happy. You can say all these things, but no, whatever the case may be, the Buckeyes are on top of the football world. And it's just where it is.
The SEC.
And what does Georgia do? Well, as a team that has a championship pedigree would do, they came out full guns blazing, just like a tested SEC team would do. And
Big 12.
That team right there that is ranked 15 that put up 45 points.
Yes, sir.
They were picked dead last at the beginning of the season.
The ACC.
Start with the biggest name first. Chapel Bill now. It's no longer called Chapel Hill. It's called Chapel Bill because Bill Belichick is now the head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. The CLP rankings, do away with that.
Right.
Do away with it.
Bring down the gridiron on the Playmakers Blog Network YouTube channel and where you can find podcasts. Because we take this job so serious.
Nacho fry. Would you like a nacho fry? Would you like a nacho fry?
What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Indeed it is. 35 after the hour. It's the bottom of the hour. We owe you an ID. This is Snowman in the Morning. Maybe.
You're listening to WHCR-DB, your radio home and voice of the Carolinas.
I ain't got no time for this bullshit.
Chapel Bill now.
Bongo Benton, Caleb Williams.
Like that! Like that!
Well, that game fucking sucked.
Can't say that on the radio.
I slipped.
Oh,
I
no.
slipped. I pushed the wrong button. I'm sorry. I apologize. I pushed the wrong button. And you know what the bad part is? Right next to it is the edited version, and I leaned too far left. Okay.
All right.
If Nagy is Jamie Hernandez is Nagy is a good OC, why did he get fired from Kansas City? Because Andy Reid was calling the plays.
Yeah.
That's
because they wanted to get they wanted to go somewhere else. He needed to go somewhere else. Yeah, Nagy's a fine offensive coordinator, but I know you want to get into Damian Hernandez, but I think I'm going to step in and produce here. We've already done 4 teams in the. I think we finish up the East, and that way we have the rest of the week to go through division. Like we can go division by division. We've already done Miami and New England. We did Dallas and New York. Why not just finish up the East, and then we're done. We don't have to talk about them.
Yeah, true. I like that.
Then let's go to Philadelphia. What do the Eagles need? And I'm going to troll a lot of Eagles fans, Deb included, by saying you need a new quarterback.
How about last night? How about last night to intro the Olympics? The Summer Olympics next year? They have Jalen Hurts in a promo throwing the ball to light the torch, and I was like, Philadelphia went an entire half against Tampa Bay without throwing a pass for a reason. Having Jalen Hurts throw that ball just seemed like trolling. It seemed like they were trying to troll. Like, yeah, we'll let him throw this, but we ain't let him throw actual footballs.
No. Then what does Philadelphia actually need? I stand by. They need
to figure out. They need to figure out if AJ Brown is salvageable.
Yes.
No.
Can he get his head on? Can he get his head on straight, or do they need to get rid of him? Because anyone,
I'll stop you right
we've
there,
talked.
please.
We've talked about. Well, no. If you're going to say no, then we've talked about how many teams have we talked about now that have said they need a number 1 wide receiver. We've talked about a lot of these teams. They need a number 1 wide receiver. AJ Brown is a number 1 wide receiver. He is that guy. So any of those teams we talked about would make a trade for AJ Brown. If the Eagles cannot salvage that relationship, if that is a done deal, they need to ship him off. They need to ship him off, and they need to get something back for him. And they need to replace him because as much as Devontae Smith is a great receiver, he's a great number 2. He is not a number 1, so they would have to get somebody in there who can replace what AJ Brown can do. But that's what they have to figure out what AJ Brown is, because when AJ Brown's head is on right, AJ Brown is a great player. When AJ Brown is soaking like he did all season, you get what the Eagles got all season.
So let's go to the back end. Let's go to the back end of that.
Vic, I was just thinking that.
Who would be the number 1 team?
I was just thinking that.
No.
Yes.
No.
You trade
AJ Brown
trade DJ Moore for AJ Brown straight up, player for player. Book it.
Okay.
The Eagles aren't if you're the Eagles and you take that deal, you're hurting.
You're crazy. You don't take that. You do not take that deal because even though you did trust DJ Moore late in games, the back half of the year, did you trust him at the top of the year? No. And I'm going to be
and the
you know where AJ Brown
and the Bears already have Romeo Odunze. They don't have to make that. I mean, they would make out like bandits. Bears would make out like bandits in that deal. But they would have to give up so much more in compensation. It wouldn't be worth it.
And it would cost them for years to come if they make that one-on-one trade, because you're going to have to complete it. It can't just go one-on-one. There's got to be a package involved, especially when it comes.
And if you're the Eagles, and I'm gonna cut you off right at the knees, Snowman. I know where you're going with this. If you're the Eagles, send him out of the NFC. You do not want him in the NFC. You don't. You control where he goes. You do not send him to another NFC team.
Trade him back to Tennessee.
back to Tennessee. I would think Buffalo would be in the market.
Buffalo.
Yeah,
Buffalo needs and we'll talk about them because they are in the AFC East. We'll talk about them in a minute, but he would fill their role. They need a guy to replace Stephon Diggs, and that would be AJ Brown.
True.
Then let's go to Buffalo. What do the Bills need?
Receiver.
A line.
They need wide receiver. They need wide receiver. Their offensive line is okay. Well, we'll see what the new coach. We'll see what the new coach has planned for this team. I mean, you saw under Sean McDermott how did they win games? They won games by running the football.
Yep. Josh Allen need weapon.
Josh Allen need real weapon. Damian says a real quarterback, unlike Caleb Williams. I'm sorry.
A real quarterback. You mean a quarterback who's been an NFL MVP and was basically in the NFL MVP discussion up until the end of the season? Josh Allen. Look, no one was harder on Josh Allen when he got drafted, and no one has been happier to see Josh Allen prove me wrong than I am. Josh Allen has proved me wrong. He is a franchise-level quarterback, and he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Now you need him to play quarterback. You need him to play quarterback. Stop making him play running. Stop making him play running back too. Let him play quarterback. You have running backs. Let the running backs run. Josh Allen doesn't need to be your leading rusher.
Yeah, Josh Allen does not need to be Steve Young in his early days. Be the team's receiver in passing and rushing.
Buffalo took the right Josh.
Mm-hmm.
That they did.
They did. Let's finish off the AFC East, dear God in heaven. And y'all know what's next. The New York Jets.
Man, the Jets need Jesus.
Jets need to just blow it up because
you know what they did.
We can go down the list. Just a moment, we can go down the list with the New York Jets on what they need. But Victor said in the statement, everything. They need everything. They need everything and then some. They need a wagon. How about that?
They need Woody Johnson to shut the H up.
Mm-hmm.
They need Woody Johnson to shut up. Well, I'm gonna give a shout out because he was on the program, and he was very, very poignant about his face. You know what? Get Errol in there as your director of football operations.
Yes.
And let's go. Let's go. That's what they need because they need somebody in there who's not going to blow smoke up the owners behind. Who's going to come out and say our team is garbage. Let's fix this.
So here you go. Here is the ultimate Jets ownership. Errol Marks is in there. Mike Francesa is in there because he has no problem telling it like it is. Joe Beningo is in there also.
I would put that's what I was going to say. Beningo over Mike Francesa is a Giants. He's a Giants guy. He's a Giants guy. He's not a Jets guy.
If you ever
Francesa, even though he's a New York guy, he's a Giants guy. He's not a Jets guy.
Who's that? Joe Beningo?
No.
Mike Francesa. Mike Francesa is a Giants guy. He's a Giants guy.
But I've heard
Beningo.
I heard a couple of things about the Jets, though, that were award-winning to me. So Beningo and Errol Marks for sure, because if you ever heard Beningo go off on the Jets before, it's pure entertainment. And I got to play. All right, guilty pleasure. I have a playlist saved of Joe Beningo's best rants about the Jets.
I mean, but Beningo would be a guy. If you really wanted to throw gas on a burning fire, if you can get him to stop gambling, you'd get Craig Carton because he is one of the biggest Jets fans of all time. But the gambling issue might be a problem. That might be a problem for Craig.
then let's stay there. You bring Evan Robertson, who was Joe Beningo's
Evan
partner.
Roberts would be a big,
he would
big
be,
Jets
he
fan.
would be good. Why are we referencing WFAN? Because they're based in New York and they talk Jets most, if not all the time. I can't believe it. Greg Giannotti. Greg Giannotti.
You could be.
How did any tree?
We keep going down this list. Iron Eagle's a big Jets fan.
Yep, Iron Eagle. Because
you got a lot of big time Jets fans.
The way CBS worked it with Iron Eagle's schedule and him being based out of the East, he does most of the Jets games being in New York. The only time that he does not is if his TNT schedule or his Brooklyn Nets schedule takes him out of New York.
But I think a lot of people. No, we saw that. We mentioned McCarthy. We mentioned McCarthy before. We said McCarthy for GM. We said Errol as your football operations and the supervillain as your GM.
Then what would be the role of Joe Beningo? What would Joe Beningo be?
I think Joe would be your he'd be your spokesperson. I'd have him out there as my media guy.
Right. Then what would we
but
do
no, to the actual point of fixing the Jets, a lot of people are going to focus on they had no interceptions. They need to fix the secondary. Mm-hmm. I think that's looking at it backwards. How do you get interceptions? You put pressure on the quarterback. They need to beef up their defensive line. They need to beef up their pass rush. And that's why I've always said Reuben Bain at number 2 or some combination of I like what Errol said about getting the linebacker. I think the linebacker from Alabama, who's really good. You could get a linebacker, and if you could couple it with another pass rusher later on in the draft, that would be a way to go. I think a lot of people are going to focus on the secondary. It's not the secondary. It's getting pass rush. It's pass rush. Get a pass rush. You need pass rushing. That's what the Jets need.
Yeah, pass rush is necessary because they had none. They had no pass rush whatsoever. None.
That's right. We got one more team in the East.
One more team in the East.
The forgotten.
One more team in the East divisions, and we can put a bow on this puppy for the day, and that's the Washington Redskins.
Oof.
Where do we begin with them? And Deets, I'll go to you first. Where do we begin with Washington?
First thing is they got to get Jaden Daniels back to being Jaden Daniels. Mm-hmm. And how do you do that? Well, you protect him. They need to protect their quarterback. They brought in all these guys last year to be, they brought in Deebo Samuel. They brought in all these wide receivers and running backs. They didn't fix the offensive line. And what happened? They didn't fix the offensive line, and Jaden Daniels got hurt.
True.
Mm-hmm.
I think defensively, the Redskins will be fine.
But it's the offense. How do we often say it? The offense couldn't offense. The offense was offensive, except for one miraculous catch against the Broncos, and they couldn't get a 2-point conversion to couple that. But Jaden Daniels needs to be healthy. And you can't run if Daniels is hurt, you can't run him out there with the risk of him getting hurt worse. Mm-hmm. And you bring in all these players, Deebo Samuel included, but how are you going to get the ball to him if Jaden Daniels is on his back? How are you going to get the ball to him when Jaden Daniels is running for his life? That's the biggest thing. They need the hogs. They need to find some offensive linemen that are going to be hogs and protect their quarterback and open the holes for their running game, because the second half of the season, their running game was non-existent. I don't even know who the hell the running back is. And you don't know who it is because
Brian
they don't give the ball.
Brian Robinson's not a bad running back when they give him the ball.
But he's not in Washington anymore. There's the.
Was he not there?
Nope.
Yeah, he's in San Francisco.
He's in San Francisco.
Oh, okay. They had another guy. They had another guy behind him that was okay. Then they had Austin Eckler for a while, and then they got rid of him. Yeah, he got injured. And they had a pretty good running game when Jaden Daniels was there. Once Jaden Daniels wasn't there, they weren't able. Everybody knew. Hey, we can stack the box, and you can't run against a stacked box. In the NFL, you cannot run against a stacked box, and you have to have a quarterback that can get out of it. And so you have to keep Jaden Daniels healthy. How do you do that? You beef up your offensive line. It'll help your running game. It'll help everything. So
let's go back to the old.
That's the fix.
Old school, like you go back to the old school and beef up your offensive line.
Give him the hogs. Give him the hogs.
Yes.
You get a Jim Lachey. You get a Jim Lachey in there.
Jim Lachey, Russ Grimm, Joe Jacoby, RC Tillman. Who was their center for the longest time? Jeff Bostic. Players like that. That's what Washington needs. They need linemen like that. And then on the defensive side, you do the same. You get the same thing. Oh, the defense is going to be okay, but they got to get some more pressure on the quarterback.
Defense will be fine. Defense will be fine. Dan Quinn is a master. Is a master defense. Anyone who says differently, you don't know what you're watching. Dan Quinn has revamped defenses absolutely everywhere he's gone, from Seattle to Atlanta to Dallas to now in Washington. He has made he makes defense. He knows how to scheme defense. He can work defense. Defense is not an issue in Washington. It's, can you get the offense to be at the level? Which we saw what happened when the offense was rolling. You get 2 years ago. When the offense is hurt, when Jaden Daniels is hurt, you get last year. So I think we have to see what happens, and we have to see. Like I always say about quarterbacks, and this is any draft pick. You have to give them at least 3 years. You cannot take, this guy was great his rookie year, so he'll be great for the rest. No, because the next year they might have a downturn. The next year, a guy might be terrible their first year. Come out their second year, be guns blazing. Third year, you have to see what is the outlier. Is the outlier the great year, or is the outlier the down year?
And then you may get Zach Wilson all over again, although I don't expect that to happen in Washington.
Oh, no.
Last question of the day, gentlemen. Who is going to be the quarterback for the New York Jets? Who are they drafting?
If I were them, I would. If I were them, I wouldn't draft a quarterback.
Yeah,
I just wouldn't.
Okay,
I just wouldn't. And if I'm gonna take a quarterback, it's gonna be in the third round. It's gonna be a third round quarterback, and we say, you know what? If this guy's good enough to start, let's start him. If we hit like a Russell Wilson, then. Outstanding. Then we've hit our guy, and we've got him at a third round, contract that we can now build our team around.
So who would be,
I think
you guys think would be the guy? Who would be there?
The guy to take there? Drew Aller. If he lasts that long.
Sawyer Robinson.
I'm trying to think of guys who would last till the third round. Guys who would last till the third round.
Sawyer Robinson from Baylor.
Sawyer Robinson's a good. That's a good choice.
Okay, Pizza. Why Sawyer Robinson?
He just. I think he's going to be. He's going to be a solid game manager at the next level. If you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
I mean, he doesn't really have the prototypical arm or anything like that.
Would fit that. You know, a guy that would fit that role for them, and you probably would get him in the third round. Luke Altmaier from Illinois. Look at Luke Altmaier from Illinois. He'd be the same. He'd be the same thing. He would get a chance to learn if they don't give him the keys already. He's got experience.
What about Carson Beck?
Carson Beck is.
I don't think he lasts. I don't think he lasts. No, I don't. I mean, I don't think he lasts in the draft. I think somebody's gonna take Carson Beck late in the first round, or trade back into the first round to get Carson Beck. I think Carson Beck goes in the first round.
Interesting.
I think he goes somewhere in the first round, somewhere late in the first round. I think late first round, not a top level guy.
Somebody's going to snatch him in the first round because of because of his achievements alone. 2 national championships, competed for a third. Someone's going to snatch him in the first round, or someone's going to trade back to snatch him in the first round. But Carson Beck is gone before round 1 is done.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so too. I think if he's sitting there at the bottom of round 2, I think the Jets could be somebody who could make a play for him. There, if he's on the board in the third round, absolutely take him. See what you can get from. And like I said, anybody the Jets get this year, see what you get. If you hit a diamond in the rough, awesome. Same thing I said about Miami. If you have a great season, awesome. If you don't, you're in the Arch Manning sweepstakes. You're in the Arch Manning sweepstakes next year, and you're with all the guys I mentioned before. There's about 6 or 7 quarterbacks that you can take next year, as opposed to the 3 guys this year that are bona fide. The rest of the guys have a lot of question marks, and even the top guys this year have question marks. And I've mentioned them about Fernando Mendoza. Fernando Mendoza is a great quarterback. He's a good quarterback. But at the NFL level, does he have the NFL arm strength? Does he have the NFL arm strength? And can he develop it, or can he play without it? We've seen him play in college without it. Can he play in the NFL without it? That's a big question.
And with the team that's potentially going to draft him, he'll get an answer to that quickly. We got to get out of here. Tomorrow we'll break down. What do y'all want to do? Y'all want to do the West Division next?
Let's do the West.
Tomorrow?
Let's do the West.
We're going West tomorrow with our division breakdown of what teams need to return to the Super Bowl, save Seattle since they just won the doggone thing. Don't forget tonight, SEC Monday, as the Oklahoma Sooners take on the Vanderbilt Commodores. That incorrectly read 7 p.m. The pregame time is 8:30 Eastern time. 8:30, because the tip-off is at 9. And Jen, I'm going to have to give you your belts tomorrow because something happened.
It's okay.
Are you feeling better?
Yeah, my back's better now.
Good. We're gonna get on out. We're gonna get on out of here. Have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move, and always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, they are simply not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. We hope y'all are too. Thanks to all my panelists. Thanks to everybody in the chat. And do me a favor, folks. If you're on Twitch, I want you to follow this cute Empress, Genevieve_Yoso. We're out of here. See you tomorrow. Always remember.
All goes Benton, Caleb Williams.
I'm out. That's it.